Alright, this is the first video of our recollection and retelling of the epic of, what do we call it again? Life and Death. The epic of Life and Death. Yes. I am here, and so is Raven. Obviously, I am here in cosplay, actually. Cause what's the word where you're trying to make everything feel the same?
Consistency?
No.
Continuity?
Continuity. I'm wearing Will get up for continuity. Basically what we are going to do, specifically more me, but we are going to retell everything that's happened up to the point where we started writing. So, it all started in a chat. And this chat room was not in lore of any kind, as you all may remember, and we were just being silly, goofy people with too much coffee and not enough alcohol. And at some point, that changed to Perp and I arguing. And at that point, she was known as Perp. And we were arguing about my great nation, Paradise. And I decided I was going to leave the chat room and build a nation, as all great stories should begin. And Tubbs went with me. And so Tubbs, Michael, and I, technically Tallulah as well, but we forget that she exists like a paragraph in, go out and we build a nation with very high walls. Don't worry, it will come back to bite us later. It's a surprise tool that'll help us later. If I ever edit this, that is going to need its own, picture. It's a surprise tool that'll help us later.
Yeah, we use it enough times.
Write that down, people.
It's a thing now.
Write that down. So, what we do is we go to Paradise. Everyone give a round of applause for Paradise. Obviously the leader of Paradise. Will is an avian. I hope you all remember that. Will is an avian. Big wings. Whole vibe. Yes, dear. You need me? No, my mother came in. Ignore that. So, man, I lost my train of thought. Tubbs is a goat. I'm an avian. What's that one scene from The Supernatural where it's like, he's a demon, I'm an angel, and I'm a witch, he's a demon, he's an angel, that's the king of hell. Oh my god. No, he left. You remember that? You remember that scene? That's what this is. Anyway,
Yeah,
so Will's an avian, Tubbs is a goat, Boo is a weird alien Rambo Enderman thing. Ignore the crashing in the background. It's fine. Ignore it. Oh, good. Maybe I'm just deaf then. Do you need help? Do you need help?
No.
Okay. No, it's fine. It's just for friends. So, I can mess up. Anyway. And then we have... Who else am I missing? Perp is an alien with ears and a tail. And antennae. Which is what you call multiple antennae. And who else am I thinking of? Michael's a pig. Tallulah's a human. Don't know how that happened. No, Tallulah's a dragonborn, basically, right?
Yeah, she's a dragonborn.
She's a dragonborn. Tommy's not here yet, but he's a surprise tool that'll help us later. And Phil is also an avian. Fun fact, Phil is at this point actually, you don't know this, so I probably shouldn't talk about it. That's a lie. You didn't hear that from me. Just remember I wanted to tell you something. You got this, kids. Anyway. So, they start a nation. They start a nation. And Perp doesn't like that they started a nation. I think I might need to turn down my mic. It's a bit loud. I feel like it's a bit loud. I don't want to turn it down. Oh, I can just turn it down like this. There we go. So they go and they start a nation. That's too far down. They go and they start a nation. They go and they start a nation. They go and they start a nation. I fixed it. You're welcome, everybody. And did I just ruin my microphone? Why? Okay. Alright, I fixed my audio. We're back to normal now. So, Perp wasn't the biggest fan of them building a nation. And so she came and she spied on them building a nation. And Will took this personally. So Will cut her eye out after a very long monologue about how history repeats itself and you're nothing but a copycat of Quackity, but sadder and lonelier. And basically rolls vicious mockery. And then cuts her eye out. Yeah! And then he takes her body and leaves it in the woods to rot. And then Tubbs thinks this is a bit overkill. validly and goes and helps Perp. Cut back to paradise. Boo shows up. Ghost Boo. Ghost Burr. Nope, not Ghost Burr. That's a different guy. The ghost version of Ranboo shows up and is floating about. And Will meets this ghost and goes, yo, you're pretty cool. And they become buddies. And then they have Michael time. And it's happy, yay, having pancakes, right? And then Will decides he wants to make he wants to make Tubbs happy. So the best way to make Tubbs happy is to revive her husband, wife, I don't know, partner. So he goes and he's going to find the revive book. Wow. Round of applause for that great older sibling mentality. Cut back to Perp, who is having a heart-to-heart with Mumza, right? Is that when this is happening?
I think that's about then, because that's when I came in, right?
Yeah, roughly. Cut to Perp, who is having a heart-to-heart with Mumza about how she's getting bullied, I think. I don't know, whining, more whining. And then Mumza goes, I feel sorry for you, kid. Have a blessing. And so she gets blessed by the gods, and then goes off to wait by a beach in the desert. Kind of where Tommy's Exile is. Actually, where Tommy's Exile is. And is vibing there until further notice. You can set her off to the side. Good job, everybody. Now we go to Boo. Nope. Will, who is being bothered by Quackity, kind of. Quackity finds out he cut open Perp's eye, so he goes to go check on Will and be like, yo, what did you do? And Will's like, I did nothing. That didn't need to be done. And then, that's the whole thing of like, but you didn't need to do that. I did need to do that. He was being a horrible person. And then they have an argument, and then Quackity kind of threatens Tallulah, but not actually, because he's not an idiot. And then they leave. And then Will goes to the old prison and finds the revive book, and then uses the revive book to revive Boo, who he then keeps in a cave because he likes her a lot and thinks they're chill, and she doesn't look at him like a monster, so he likes her. So he keeps her in a cave, like Rapunzel, and then he builds a relationship with her. And Tubbs is like, where did Will go? And Phil gets sent by Mumza to go hunt down the revival book. You guys are following. If you need to go back and re-listen to things, go back and re-listen, because I'm not saying it again. And so, they go back. Phil goes and is being sent on a quest to go get the revive book from Will, who is not just going to hand over the revive book, because he might need it for later, because it's a surprise tool, you see. So, Phil does all of this. Wait, no. Quackity hires Phil and Tubbs? I think that's what happens. Quackity hires Phil and Tubbs to go hunt down Will because he thinks that Will killed Perp. Will did not kill Perp, just kind of mutilated her face. Not death. So really, man is innocent. So they go, okay, let's go hunt them down. So they start to hunt them down, and then Will has epic fight scene. Quackity has less epic fight scene. I have a favorite character. Anyway, Will has epic fight scene. Quackity has less epic fight scene, where he kind of tries to spell vicious mockery, and it just kind of fades out into the world, because Will is running away and doesn't really hear it. Phil, on the other hand, has a really good attack, and shoots Will in the wing, as he tries to fly away to Boo, to get her out of here. And it hurts the bird boy. And Bird Boy goes down, and then Tubbs is running through the brush, because Tubbs doesn't have wings, unlike the mass of these avians. By the way, Quackity's an avian, but a tiny, sad one, with very little wing. Will gets back into his cave, and goes, Boo, you gotta get out of here. They're coming for me. You gotta run. And Boo goes, that's not happening. Have this invisibility potion. I'll take care of it. And Will goes, sounds good. Downs invisibility potion and hides. And then Boo goes, what are we doing? And then Phil goes, you're alive? And then Boo goes, yes, I am alive. And they have a conversation. And then Phil goes, wait, is he holding you hostage? And she's like, yes, he ran that way. And then points to nothing, right? And so Phil's like, okay, cool. And then Quackity shows up and says something kind of pissy. And then Will takes that personally. So Will stabs him in the heart and kills him, giving away his position. And then Phil goes, ah! Bird boy! And then stabs him back. And so now we have 2 dead people. 1 revive book that is in Phil's hand? No. That is now unaccounted for. Phil, the revive book? Who knows?
It's somewhere.
No, it's unaccounted for. And then you have Phil, who has to deal with now Tubbs and Boo, who are having this awkward reunion. And Phil is like, well, I need to find the revive book. Here I go. And then he kind of leaves. Flash back to Perp, who is vibing in the sand, throwing rocks in the sea, you know, like, ugh, my life is so hard. Ugh, I have no depth perception. Ugh, you know what I mean. Hi.
Your second bottle started?
Not yet, because I've been working on things in life.
For real?
Yes. Excuse the interruption. Here I am now. Throwing the rocks in the sea because, you know, she's moping, you know, because her life is so hard. And then Wilbur shows up, but Wilbur in the form of a ghost. Ghostbur. But not quite Ghostbur, but Ghostbur. Ghostbur shows up and is like, yo, you look depressed. Want to be friends? And then Perp goes, ah, you cut my face open. And Ghostbur goes, no, I didn't. That was bad me. I am dead now. And then she goes, cool, friendship. And they shake on it, and they're friends now. And as a sign of friendship, Wilbur, Ghostbur, whatever, ghost guy, produces Book of Revival. I should really get a book for this. 1 second, props. No one saw my pants. I'm in full cosplay. I got a book. Hwah! Produces Book of Revival. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this tome. I draw things in it. You want to see what I draw in it? You do. I drew a horse. Anyway, so they produce the Book of Revival. and then Perp goes, yo, I can use this for my own advantage. I'm going to revive a demon to give me powers. Not quite a demon, but actually a demigod. So she opens up the book, right? This is actually kind of a pain to open, so I'm not going to open it. Opens up the book and dramatically cuts off Dream's name, reviving him. The longer this goes, the more dramatic I'm going to get. So he revives Dream, and Dream shows up and is like, yo, who awoke me from my slumber? You know, like that one scene from Aladdin. And then Perp goes, I did it. And Dream goes, you definitely did it because you're a fucking child. Sorry, language, you can all yell at me. Because you're a child. And then Perp goes, what? No, you owe me now.
We did skip up on censoring, so.
I know. It's the book, the story, not censored. So I don't know why I'm censoring. I don't know either. So he goes,
Yeah, I saw. I'm in the document right now, and I saw someone say fudge. I was like, oh, that's so weird.
Was it, who said fudge?
It was Phil.
Oh, that's so funny. Anyway, we say worse things than that. Anyway, besides the point. I lost my point. Someone give me back my point. Where'd it go? Fuck. Oh, yeah, there we go. Swearing. That was my point. Basically, Dream goes, cool, I guess I do technically owe you now because you did revive me, so I guess I won't kill you. And then Perp goes, nope, you owe me more than that. You will help me. And Dream goes, why not? First you gotta help me first. And she's like, no, you have to help me. And Dream goes, let's go. She's like, what? No, you're supposed to help me. I have revived you. And Dream goes, yep. We got business to attend to. She's like, no, that's not the point! And then they go off into the nether portal. I'm doing great, guys. Anyway, I think I've hit every major point so far. I'm doing amazing.
Yes.
Then you cut to Boo and Boo and Tubbs, who are making pancakes. They make a lot of pancakes. Who are making pancakes in their cabin, and Tommy, there's word of Tommy being around, so Tubbs leaves to go get Tommy, and Ranboo is alone in the house. And then Dream arrives at their place. Oh, Dream is also being haunted by the crows, because they're keeping an eye on him for Mumsa. Anyway.
Yeah, Mumsa doesn't trust him.
Very validly.
Well, he's Dream.
Very fair. So, Dream shows up at the house and goes, okay, Perp, here's the plan. I'm gonna go manipulate some children. You just do whatever you want. Give me like an hour. So then Perp goes, no, they've gotten over you. And then Dream goes, people don't just get over me. I'm too good of a partner for that. They love me too much. But not like that. That's how Will would say it. He says it in, more Dream fashion, more ominous, more like, I am darkness and you all will bow to me. Fuck you. That's what he goes. Anyway, so he goes inside the house and is like, yo, who's back from the dead? I'll give you a hint. His name starts with a D. And it's not Doug. So he goes in and finds Boo and is like, so, how's life? What's been going on? Did you enjoy being dead? 'Cause I didn't. I'm sure you didn't either. So give me your memory book. And then Boo goes, what? No. And then Dream goes, oh, come on. I'll kill your children if you don't give me your book. And then she goes, what? No. Please no. And Dream goes, yes. Please yes. And then Tubbs shows up conveniently at that time-ish, sort of. They see them coming. And so they jump up into the rafters. And then when they come through the door, Dream sings a little song of past knowledge, aka the L'Manberg Anthem. And then they all go, man in the house! And like you would if there was a man in your house. And he jumps down and goes, yo, Tommy! What's up? And then has mild PTSD because Tommy is terrifying at times. And then he goes, give me your meaningful possessions or I will kill your children. And they go, no. And then he goes, well, there goes my plan. And then Boo is knocked out of fear because Tommy's here. And Tommy is just terrifying. So Boo is knocked out because of fear. And he takes her body and uses her body to open the ender chest and pulls out both Michael and the... Wait, does he pull out the memory book at that point? I think he does. I think he does both. I don't remember. Either way, he has the memory book and the child. So with the child, he cuts his throat, and leaves the dead child because they didn't give him what he wants. And then takes the memory book and then leaves. And Tubbs, say it with me, takes this personally. So she goes out to go hunt down Dream, a demigod. Genius plan, if you ask me. So she goes, Goat Girl goes to attack Demon Guy, and Demon Guy starts beating her ass. And then Boo goes, no, my wife is dying. So she goes to go back her up. And then he starts beating up 2 people. And Tommy runs off. And then, sorry, I think I'm hilarious. And then Perp goes, wait, no, don't kill them. And then Dream goes, man, I really want to kill these children. And then Perp goes, we can't kill them, Dream. And he goes, oh yes, I need to convince this child that I'll do what she asks, when she asks it. So he decides to go and leave. So he just leaves them with a dead child. Yay! So they go back to the desert, and then Dream sees Puns and goes, my buddy, we need to work together on this. So he leaves to Perp to go do whatever she wants to do, because he genuinely doesn't care about her. So he goes to find Puns. Puns and Perp are going to be tongue-tied around my mouth all the time. So goes to find Puns, and goes, hey, Puns, what's up, buddy? And he goes, Dream, you're alive. And then he's like, yep, I am. Missed ya. And Puns like, missed ya too, man. And then they share gay vibes. And then, Dream goes, hey, guess what? I'm being watched. And then Puns goes, man, that sucks. Hate to be on house arrest. And then Dream goes, yep, could you do my job for me while I'm on house arrest? And Puns goes, yep, I'll go and do spy stuff. And then Dream goes, sweet, I'm gonna go and commit chaos. And then Puns goes, please don't. And then Dream goes, psych, I'm doing it anyway. And then he goes to Perp and goes, so I actually feel bad about murdering children. And Perp goes, no, you don't. And Dream goes, yes, I do. and then a fake tear rolls down his cheek after he placed water on his face. You know what I mean? So, I feel so bad about killing that child that totally deserved it. Guys, I don't need more death threats for doing that, please. Not even gonna lie, do you wanna know how many death threats I got for killing Michael? 4!
I remember that was a whole to-do.
I got 4 death threats.
The longest time.
Real life death threats. Anyway, y'all need help. Now, Dream goes, I feel so bad. Let me revive the child. And to revive the child, I need the book. And you don't know how to use the book, obviously, because you only revived me, and I'm the easiest thing to revive, so, give me the book. And she goes, no, my book. And Dream goes, I promise I'll give it back. She says, fine, and gives him the book, because he had those crocodile tears, and he looked so sad, and depressed, and very beat up, and she feels like she's got this whole power-god dynamic, and what could this man do to her, because she's, like, the best player in all of Bedrock, you know what I mean? Who cares? No one gives a fuck. Anyway, so he takes...
No one cares.
No one cares! Shut up, Tina! Anyway, so he takes... I don't care about what's the line from Supernatural? Well, what's the line from Stranger Things? I don't care about Tina or Uncle Jack's party. No one's gonna find us if we're dead in a Russian elevator. Anyway, that's Dream in a nutshell. So, they take the book, and Dream opens the book, and then magic! Whoa! He memorizes the magic part, XD's magic, from the book. He memorizes it. And he doesn't actually know how to speak Illyrian. By the way, that's the language of the gods, is Illyrian. He doesn't know how to speak Illyrian, or read Illyrian, but he can pronounce the words enough to get by. So he says magic. I mean, I know that he knew what he would... It'll make sense later. Anyway. So he reads the book.
There's surprise tools everywhere.
Do you guys just go with the flow, and we'll just keep throwing surprise tools at you, and it will make sense. So he reads the book, and he revives Michael, and then goes, Mumsa, I'm here for the child. And Mumsa goes, no, you're not. And he goes, I am. I felt so bad for murdering a baby. I've come to bring it back to life. And she goes, I don't trust you. And Dream goes, that's a good life choice. Anyway, give me the child. So he takes the child and drops it off back with its parents, because I got too many death threats. So then we go back to Dream and Perp, and he hands the book back over, but there is a different hint of vibe to this man. He seems more dangerous on a primal level, and Perp ignores this fact. By the way, Perp just ignores the fact that she has, given a magical book of power to a deity that already knows how to use it. Anyway, so they go back to Puns, and he goes, hey Puns, I had a plan. And Puns goes, oh dear. And then more gay vibes happen. And then, probably shouldn't say that. Anyway, whatever. And then, Dream goes, we're gonna capture Phil. We're gonna kidnap that man. And I'm gonna break him. And then he's gonna be on our side. That or I'll kill him. But it's just better to get him out of the way. Because we don't really want him dead. Because then he comes back as a god. And no one wants that. So we're gonna capture him. That way he can't help nobody. And Puns goes, that's kind of a dumb idea. And then Dream goes, no one asked you. And they go. They go to go collect Phil. So they lay a trap. How do they lay a trap, you may be asking? Well, you see, there are crows everywhere, and they've been following Dream for a while. So Dream has the genius plan of, I will now indoctrinate the crows, and they will be my chat. They see everything and everyone, and they know what Mums is doing at all the time. So, I mean, it's really a genius plan, and I was actually a really smart person. Anyway, so, he offers them cookies and chaos. And like every Saiyan creature, they agree. So now he has the crows on his side. Guys, we're almost at a half hour of me explaining. So, now he has the crows on his side. And they go, cool, go tell Techno to come and join us. 2, go tell Phil to come here to this specific cave that I have made big and strong with the strings. They're magically barricaded off cave. And they go, cool, sounds good. So Phil arrives, is looking for the book, because that's what the birds said. And instead, he finds Dream standing in front of a very ominous, kind of weird, very suspicious cave. And decides to go in after him. Everyone give a round of applause for the Angel of Death, who's been alive for longer than anybody else. Walking head first into an obvious trap. Walking head first after XD's son. Their sworn enemy. Anyway, so they go into the trap, and then Dream just kind of locks him in there. And then goes, cool, you're mine now, pet bird. I can't high five myself because I just hit that chord. Anyway, high five, got a pet bird, life's doing great. And then Phil goes, no, I am above that, you can't capture me. And then Dream goes, what do you think I just did? And he goes, well, I will get out. And then Dream says, sure, bird boy, you do that. And then leaves, after beating him up repeatedly. And then you cut to Will. I think it's Will. Yeah, Will. Will is watching Tommy, Tubbo, and Boo doing their things. Tubbo leaves at some point. I forgot why. I think she just leaves to go and get out of this mess. Understandably.
I think because that's when Toad said
it is. That is why. But, like, I don't remember if we gave a better lore reason than she just left.
I think she took the kids with her.
No. Michael was still there. Michael and Shroud are still there. I think Tallulah might have gone with her. I don't remember. For lack of a better reason, Tallulah's with her. Because we just kind of stopped paying attention to her. So Will's there with the kids, and he's keeping an eye on them. And then Tommy sees him. And Tommy does not take it very well, seeing his brother. But Will doesn't really give a fuck, and they have a little brother-to-brother moment where Tommy can't really decide if he likes his brother or not. And Will has the moment of, man, these kids really need my help. I need to get back to life as fast as possible. Side note, Will's been dead so many times he can take over his ghost. Just FYI. Combined with being the son of death and being dead, he knows how to take over his limbo, his ghost head. So he's like, man, I really need to get back to my kids. So he goes to his mother and goes, can I go back to life? And she goes, no. And he goes, aw. And then moves on with his life. And then you have Techno. Techno arrives, and Techno and Dream have a quick little chat. And in the middle of their quick little chat, Tommy runs to go get Boo's memory book back from Dream. In the middle of this. And Wilbur goes with him to make sure he doesn't do anything stupid. We're almost there, chat. We're almost there. Runs after him to get there. I need water. Water break. Blue glacier water in my case. Completely real glacier water. You can tell it because it says glacier freeze. And they never rely on those. Anyway, so they hunted down Dream. And they go, Dream, give us the book back. And Dream goes, no, child, go away. I'm in the middle of a serious talk with the man, the myth, the legend, Technoblade. And Will goes, I am so sorry for my younger brother's existence. Can we make a deal? And then Dream goes, I do love myself a deal. So then they play Deal or No Deal, but not actually. So basically, you want the book, I want a thing of significantable value. And Will goes, might I offer my guitar? And Dream goes, yes, I play music, you play music, tradesies. So then Will gets the book back, and Dream gets his guitar. And then Techno pulls Will aside and goes, hey, some of the crows be telling me the cave up there is pretty spooksies. Could you go check that out? And then Will, with his side quest, goes, yep, that he picked up from a random NPC, because that's what that sounds like, by the way. He's like, yeah, I can take care of that, because I'm a ghost and I can go through walls. So then Tommy goes back with the book to go give it back to Boo, who was staying there with the childs. Shroud and Michael, because Shroud's there now. Tommy does not like when Will is near Shroud, which is valid because he has an alcoholic brother. Then Will goes up to the cave system and goes, yo, who's in here? And then sees his father.
No, if you're talking about Will going into the cave, no, because we rewrote that.
Ugh. See, this is the problem.
It's not
What we
part of
need
the
to figure. Okay. Is it when he goes up there and he's sneaky? Is it when
Oh,
he's
we added
sneaky?
an extra scene in before that happens.
Oh fuck.
And then we rewrote it as a part of that.
Oh
We
fuck.
rewrote that
Okay.
scene twice.
That's true. We did. We wrote this scene a lot of times. It's hard once we've gotten to the part where my life has become hard. So I think Dream goes up there first, then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We added a scene.
We'll
and that's gonna be the start
Take
of,
care of something else.
you know, this new timeline.
Will goes off, and then Dream comes back to go mess with Phil. And I think that's where we cut off. Right? Did I do it? Did I recap everything? From the beginning? I just recapped the entirety of our lore up to the point of where we started rewriting. And I want you to know that
I will
took me
say
an hour.
The Techno arriving does happen kind of in the middle of this.
Correct, but it has... Right. But that happens outside of lore.
Because it happens between, you know, Dream and Will's visits.
Yes. And I just recounted the entirety of our lore in a half hour and 1 minute. A half hour and 1 minute. I should get a prize. Alright, well, the next video that you'll be watching in the next succession, because I'm pretty sure we'll put these in a playlist, will be the beginning of the lore, read by both of us. I'll be playing a couple of people, and she'll be playing everybody else. Anyway.
Yep.
I'm now going to take off this stupid cosplay.